Some farmers are outraged at the government's proposal to charge them for their greenhouse gas emissions. To go into the detail, we've got MBR's political editor Brent Edwards with us. So, what's all the upset?
Well, it's sort of ironic in a way. I mean, because the government has largely picked up the proposal that was put forward by Hawaka Ikinoa, the primary climate change partnership, which involved a lot of the farming groups with a couple of government departments to come up with a plan. And now the government had to respond, and it's responded. The big bone of contention is the way that under the government's proposal it will deal with vegetation on farmland. Under the farmers' proposal, they would get that basically effectively as an offset. So they'd get paid money for the fact that it was supposedly sucking up carbon, and that would offset against what they paid on their own emissions, particularly methane and nitrous oxide. So in the government's proposal, it's narrowed down very much what could be claimed for sequestration, and it's going to put it to one side, not part of that particular plan, because it wants everyone to be able to take advantage of it. If there is an advantage, farmers shouldn't be the only ones that would be able to use that to, if you like, offset their emissions.
Yeah, what's been the political reaction then?
Well, the political reaction has been outrage from the ACT Party, which basically says this is going to destroy farming as we know it. And it's, we've heard that again back in the 1980s when the then Labor government was removing subsidies for farming, and of course farming just became more efficient, which ironically enough then is why the ACT Party is saying, well, it's so efficient, it's beating the other farmers out around the world, but now because it says it's going to end up reducing the amount of, say, sheep, for instance, those sheep production will now go offshore to places that will emit more emissions. The National Party was kind of less emotional, if you like, but essentially saying, they're disappointed the government can't reach consensus, and seem to be saying that they'd listen to the farmers. The Green Party, on the other hand, and Climate Change Minister James Shaw was at this announcement, but the Cabinet papers also showed that they released at the time that he had a different view. He wanted them to go a bit further, and the Green Party's made it clear they too think it should go further. And interestingly enough, the Cabinet papers also show that the Treasury worries that the plan that the government put up, it might reach their 2030 goals around reducing on-farm emissions, but it says it won't meet the 2050 goal.
Does this have any bearing on next year's election?
Well, yeah, it will. Obviously, we've got other issues around the economy, but there are a lot of people clearly worried about climate change, as they should be. So you'll have a clear, I think, choice between voting for parties that are going to take more action on climate change, particularly the Green Party. But in comparison to, say, what ACT and National are talking about, even the Labor Party, even though many people who believe action should be taken are disappointed that actually the government, led by Labor, isn't going far enough.
Brent Edwards, thank you.